What if I told you that one of the most unbelievable treasures in the world isn't hidden inside an ancient castle, buried beneath a forgotten battlefield, or locked inside a billionaire's private vault, but could be a small coin that thousands of people have overlooked for decades? Today, you're about to discover 3 ultra-rare coins that have captured the attention of collectors around the world. And the first one on today's list has a story so surprising that most people have never even heard about it. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary circulating coin. Nothing flashy, nothing that screams treasure, but appearances can be incredibly deceptive. Some collectors spend years searching for examples like this, while others unknowingly pass them by without realizing what they were looking at. That single mistake could mean missing one of the most fascinating coins discussed in today's market. But here's the twist. We're saving the biggest surprise until the very end. Each coin on today's countdown becomes even more incredible than the last, and coin number 1 already has a history that will leave many collectors speechless. If you're passionate about rare coins, hidden treasures, forgotten history, and extraordinary discoveries, you're in exactly the right place. Make sure you watch until the end, because today's final coin has a story that almost sounds impossible. Yet collectors continue talking about it. Welcome to American Coin Secrets, where every day we uncover fascinating coins, remarkable discoveries, and the hidden stories behind some of the world's most collectible treasures. Now, let's begin with coin number 1. First up, at first glance, the 1969 Turkish 25 kuruş appears to be nothing more than an ordinary coin from everyday circulation. It is small, familiar, and easy to overlook. Many people would never imagine that a coin like this could become the center of serious collector conversations years after it left circulation. Yet that is exactly what has happened with certain surviving examples. Coins are much more than pieces of metal. Every one of them carries the story of a nation, its economy, its people, and a specific moment in history. The 1969 Turkey 25 kuruş was issued during an era when Turkey was experiencing important economic and social changes. Millions of coins entered circulation to serve everyday commerce, passing from one hand to another, through markets, shops, restaurants, and families across the country. Because these coins were intended for daily use, most examples experienced years of heavy wear. They were dropped into pockets, carried in wallets, stacked in cash registers, and exposed to countless scratches, impacts, and environmental conditions. As time passed, many were damaged, melted, or simply disappeared from circulation altogether. The coin itself reflects the careful craftsmanship of its period. Every line, every letter, and every design element was created to represent the identity of the Turkish Republic. Collectors appreciate these historical details because they connect the coin to a specific chapter in modern Turkish history. Even after decades, surviving pieces continue to tell that story. One reason collectors become fascinated with coins like the 1969 25 kuruş is that not every surviving example is equal. Condition plays an enormous role. A coin graded in fine condition still retains enough original detail to preserve much of its historical character, while clearly showing that it participated in real circulation. Every worn surface represents decades of genuine history rather than artificial aging. As collectors study these coins more closely, they begin noticing details that casual observers often miss. The sharpness of the lettering, the remaining design features, the quality of the strike, and the overall preservation all contribute to how desirable an individual example becomes. Experienced collectors spend years learning how to recognize these characteristics because subtle differences can dramatically affect collector interest. The 1969 Turkey 25 kuruş has gradually become a conversation piece within certain collecting communities because surviving examples continue attracting attention from people who appreciate historical world coins. While many ordinary pieces remain common, examples with desirable characteristics and collectible appeal are watched carefully whenever they appear. What makes this even more fascinating is the emotional side of collecting. Every surviving coin has traveled through countless hands during its lifetime. It may have witnessed historic events, changing governments, economic transformations, and generations of everyday people who never imagined that decades later, someone would study it under magnification as a collectible artifact. Collectors aren't simply buying metal, they're preserving history. Now comes the moment many viewers have been waiting for. For the purpose of today's video, the described 1969 Turkey 25 kurush in fine condition is presented with a value of $42,000. A figure like that naturally captures attention because it illustrates how exceptional collector demand for a specific coin can become when rarity, historical significance, and condition align. Values in the real coin market, however, depend on authentication, grading, provenance, demand, and actual auction results, so they can vary significantly. If you own an old Turkish coin from the 1960s, never rush to clean it. Cleaning can permanently damage the original surfaces that experienced collectors often prefer. Store the coin in a protective holder, avoid touching its surfaces with bare fingers, and if you believe you have an unusual example, consider having it authenticated and professionally graded before making any decisions. Sometimes, the greatest discoveries begin with curiosity. Many remarkable collections started with a single coin that inspired someone to learn more about history, minting, and the fascinating world of numismatics. And remember, today's countdown is only getting started. If coin number 1 surprised you, the next 2 coins become even more astonishing. Their stories involve remarkable rarity, incredible collector interest, and histories that continue, fascinating enthusiasts around the world. So don't go anywhere, because the next coin may completely change the way you look at old coins forever. And if you enjoy discovering extraordinary coins and hidden stories like these, make sure you subscribe to American Coin Secrets. We bring you fresh videos regularly featuring fascinating coins, collector insights, historical discoveries, and remarkable stories from the world of numismatics. Let's continue to coin number 2. Next up, now that you've seen the incredible story behind coin number 1, it's time for a coin that surprises almost everyone the first time they hear about it. At first glance, this looks like a perfectly ordinary coin from modern circulation. Most people wouldn't stop for even a second if they found one in a pocket, drawer, or old coin jar. But that assumption is exactly what makes this coin so fascinating. The 2010 Malaysia 20 sen has become a coin that sparks curiosity among collectors who enjoy searching beyond the most famous US and European issues. While millions of modern coins are produced around the world, only a small number ever develop a reputation that makes collectors pause and take a closer look. Certain examples of the 2010 20 sen have become part of that conversation because of their historical significance, collectible appeal, and the excitement they generate within world coin collecting. To understand why this coin attracts attention, you first have to understand the story behind it. Malaysia has one of Southeast Asia's most interesting modern coinage systems. Its coins are designed not only for everyday transactions, but also to reflect the nation's identity, culture, and progress. Every denomination carries carefully crafted design elements that symbolize the country's heritage while serving millions of people in daily life. When the 2010 20 sen entered circulation, it was created to be a practical coin used in ordinary purchases across the country. No one standing in line at a store imagined that years later, collectors around the world would examine surviving examples with magnifying glasses, comparing every detail and searching for pieces worthy of adding to their collections. That is one of the greatest mysteries in numismatics. A coin begins life as ordinary money, yet decades later it can become an object of historical interest simply because time changes everything. Coins disappear. Others become damaged. Some are melted, while countless examples are lost forever. As the years pass, finding attractive surviving pieces becomes increasingly difficult. The composition of the Malaysia 20 sen reflects modern minting technology, designed to provide durability while maintaining clear design details. Even though it was intended for circulation, the quality of its manufacture allows many of its artistic features to remain visible long after years of use. Collectors appreciate the balance between functionality and design, recognizing that even modern circulating coins tell important stories about the era in which they were produced. Take a closer look at the details. The lettering, the national symbols, the carefully balanced layout, and the craftsmanship all reveal the effort that went into producing a coin capable of representing an entire nation. Every mark and every surviving detail becomes part of its history. A fine condition example preserves enough of those original features to make it appealing while also showing authentic circulation that connects it to real life rather than perfect storage. Collectors often say that every circulated coin has traveled a journey impossible to recreate. Imagine the number of hands this coin may have passed through. It may have been carried by students, workers, travelers, shopkeepers, or families. It silently witnessed thousands of ordinary moments before eventually finding its way into the hands of someone who appreciated it as more than everyday money. That emotional connection is one reason coin collecting continues growing around the world. Collectors are not simply searching for metal. They are preserving history, craftsmanship, and stories that might otherwise disappear forever. As interest in world coins continues expanding, many collectors have begun exploring modern issues alongside classic coins. Instead of focusing only on centuries-old pieces, they now recognize that certain modern coins also deserve careful attention because future generations may view them very differently than they are viewed today. This growing international interest has encouraged collectors to research mintages, varieties, condition, and historical context much more closely than ever before. Every time an attractive example appears, it becomes another opportunity to learn about a country's monetary history and the remarkable journey of a seemingly ordinary coin. Well, now comes the part everyone has been waiting for. For the purpose of today's video, the described 2010 Malaysia 20 sen in fine condition is presented with a value of $30,000. A number like this naturally attracts attention because it highlights how collector interest can make certain coins especially desirable. In the real marketplace, however, actual values depend on factors such as authentication, professional grading, rarity, provenance, demand, and confirmed auction results. Prices can vary significantly from one example to another. If you ever discover older or unusual coins from Malaysia or any other country, resist the temptation to polish or clean them. Original surfaces are often preferred by collectors because they preserve the coin's authentic character. Handle coins by their edges whenever possible, store them in protective holders, and consider professional authentication if you believe you have an especially collectible example. One of the most exciting aspects of coin collecting is that every discovery leads to another question. What makes one coin stand out while another remains ordinary? Why do some examples become highly sought after years after they were minted? These mysteries keep collectors searching, learning, and building collections that preserve pieces of history for future generations. And believe it or not, the biggest surprise of today's countdown is still waiting. If coin number 2 caught your attention, coin number 3 takes this journey to an entirely different level. Its history, rarity, and collector fascination make it one of the most unforgettable coins featured in today's video. Stay with us because the final reveal is coming next, and it's a coin that every serious collector should know about. If you're enjoying today's countdown, don't forget to subscribe to American Coin Secrets. We regularly share fresh videos featuring remarkable coins, fascinating collector stories, historical discoveries, and hidden treasures from the incredible world of numismatics. Next up, we've reached the final coin of today's countdown. And if you've stayed with us this far, you're about to discover why so many collectors believe the most unforgettable stories are often hidden inside the most ordinary-looking coins. This final coin doesn't shine because it's made of gold. It doesn't amaze people because of its size. Instead, it captures attention for a completely different reason. It represents how an everyday circulating coin can become the center of fascinating collector discussions years after it first entered people's pockets. The 2013 India Aston coin is one of those coins that almost everyone recognizes, yet very few people truly stop to study. Millions of people have handled Aston coins throughout daily life, buying groceries, paying bus fares, or receiving change without giving them a second glance. But collectors know something most people don't. Every coin has a story. Behind every date, every design, every mint, and every surviving example is a piece of history waiting to be uncovered. When the 2013 Aston coin was issued, India was continuing to modernize its circulating coinage. The bimetallic design gave the coin a distinctive appearance while making it durable enough for years of everyday use. Produced for circulation, it was intended to move through countless hands, serving millions of transactions across one of the world's largest economies. No one at that time imagined that years later, collectors would carefully inspect these coins under bright lights, comparing tiny details that most people would never notice. That is one of the greatest mysteries of coin collecting. Time transforms ordinary objects into historical artifacts. The coin itself is beautifully engineered. Its bimetallic construction combines a copper-nickel center with an aluminum-bronze outer ring, giving it both durability and visual appeal. The obverse features the iconic lion capital of Ashoka along with the country's name and denomination, while the reverse prominently displays the Western value. The design reflects modern Indian coinage and the country's continuing evolution in currency production. Collectors appreciate these coins because they present a period of modern Indian history that future generations will continue to study. While millions entered circulation, time has naturally reduced the number of attractive surviving examples. Coins were scratched, bent, damaged, lost, or heavily worn after years of everyday use. Finding a well-preserved example in fine condition still provides collectors with a coin that clearly tells its story. The remaining design details, readable lettering, and honest circulation wear give the piece character while preserving much of its original appearance. Experienced numismatists often remind beginners that condition matters just as much as rarity. Two coins with the same date can have dramatically different collector appeal, depending on preservation, originality, authentication, and whether they belong to a notable variety or era. That is why serious collectors never judge a coin in just a few seconds. They study it. They compare it. They research it. Sometimes the smallest detail becomes the biggest clue. And that search for hidden details is exactly what keeps the hobby exciting. Every coin album, every estate collection, every forgotten drawer, and every inherited box of coins holds the possibility of uncovering something historically interesting. Now comes the reveal you've been waiting for. For the purpose of today's video, the described 2013 India Asten coin in fine condition is presented with a value of $35,000. In the real collecting world, however, prices are determined by authentication, the exact variety or error, if any, professional grading, rarity, collector demand, and confirmed auction results. An ordinary circulated 2013 Reston coin would generally not sell for this amount. If you own older coins, the smartest approach is to preserve them properly. Never polish or clean a coin, because doing so can permanently affect its collectible appeal. Hold coins only by their edges, keep them in protective holders, and if you believe you found an unusual variety or mint error, consider having it authenticated by a reputable grading service before assigning it significant value. And that brings us to the end of today's incredible countdown. 3 coins. 3 fascinating stories. 3 reminders that history often survives in the smallest objects. Whether you're an experienced collector or someone who has just started paying attention to the coins in your pocket, every collection begins with curiosity. The next remarkable discovery might not come from an auction or a museum. It might begin with a single coin that inspires you to learn more. If you enjoyed today's journey into the world of rare and collectible coins, don't forget to subscribe to American Coin Secrets. We regularly bring you fresh videos exploring remarkable coins, hidden histories, collecting tips, and fascinating discoveries from around the world. Until next time, keep looking closely, because the next extraordinary story could be hiding in plain sight. If your goal is to maximize credibility with a U.S. audience, scripts that build suspense while accurately distinguishing between verified market prices and hypothetical examples tend to perform better over the long term and help build viewer trust.